When Caitlin Clark was drafted, it was supposed to be the perfect match. Stephanie White, a seasoned coach known for her calm command and focus on discipline, was exactly the kind of leader Clark needed to guide her transition from college phenom to professional icon. And for a while, it looked like that's how things would go. The two respected each other deeply, and the results showed promise. Clark's energy and vision brought new life to Indiana, and White's coaching gave structure to the chaos of a young, rebuilding team. But then came the fame, the kind of fame no one in the WNBA had ever seen before. The moment Clark started dominating the national conversation, everything changed. The Fever's world became a media storm. Every game was broadcast in primetime. Every photo of Caitlin went viral. Every endorsement deal seemed bigger than the last. Overnight, the Indiana Fever went from an afterthought to the face of the league, and with that came power, not for the coach, not for the GM, but for Clark. Stephanie White was still leading practices, but her authority now came with conditions. The cameras weren't there for the team anymore. They were there for Caitlin. The marketing department reportedly began coordinating with her management team on appearances and interviews, and even the team's practice schedule started shifting around her media obligations. What was once a basketball operation began to look more like a production set. And that kind of imbalance eventually demands correction. It all came to a head during a closed practice session following a disappointing loss. White wanted to slow things down, to return to structure, to remind the team what made them successful. But Caitlin, riding the rhythm that made her a generational scorer, reportedly pushed for a faster pace, more freedom, more movement, more instinct. At first, it was just a difference in approach, but when Clark kept calling out plays over White's instructions, that's when the moment snapped. White slammed her clipboard and yelled for silence, declaring that she was still the coach. The room froze. Players stopped mid-motion. Even the assistants stood still. It was one of those moments that expose everything unsaid, who holds power, who doesn't, and who's too afraid to pick a side. Clark didn't yell back. She didn't need to. Her silence said more than any argument ever could. Practice ended early that day. Later, the team held a closed-door meeting to clear the air. White spoke first, urging everyone to stay united and focused on the team's goals. Caitlin barely spoke, reportedly sitting back while veterans voiced frustrations about media distractions and locker room tension. Some wanted the team to regain balance. Others defended Clark, saying her drive and competitiveness were being misinterpreted. After the meeting, players quietly went their separate ways. A few grabbed dinner together, without Clark. Not as an act of hostility, but because everyone needed a break from the pressure. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Clark's management reportedly reached out to Fever executives to ensure the incident wouldn't spiral into public drama. But by then, it was too late. Word had already leaked. Within 48 hours, rumors of a heated exchange between Clark and White were circulating online. Fans split instantly into factions, those blaming Clark for overstepping, and those accusing White of being unable to manage a star of Caitlin's magnitude. Owner Steve Simon, who had already invested millions into promoting the Caitlin Clark era, reportedly convened an emergency front office meeting to get ahead of the story. His goal was simple: contain the narrative before it became a scandal. But Simon wasn't just worried about PR, he knew he might have to make a choice, protect the authority of his head coach or preserve the image and influence of the most marketable player in league history. That's the impossible balancing act haunting the Fever today. On one side stands Stephanie White, a coach built from the old-school mold, structure, accountability, and respect. On the other stands Caitlin Clark, a player from the new era, fearless, media-savvy, and powerful enough to command the attention of an entire league. It's not that either of them are wrong. It's that they represent two different worlds colliding under one roof. The WNBA has never had a player like Clark before, someone whose fame transcends the game itself. She's more than an athlete. She's a brand, a symbol of change, and a financial lifeline for the league. And when one person becomes that vital to a business, control naturally begins to shift in their direction. The Fever locker room reportedly reflects that shift. Some players stand firmly behind White, believing that order and structure must come first, no matter how talented one player is. Others quietly side with Clark, arguing that her leadership and intensity are what's driving the team forward. It's not personal, it's philosophical. The divide isn't about who's right or wrong, but about what kind of team the Fever want to be. A disciplined unit where every player answers to the same rules? or a star-driven machine built around one of the most magnetic talents the sport has ever seen. Publicly, both White and Clark handled the fallout with professional grace. White smiled through interviews, praising Clark's passion and calling her a competitor's dream. Clark returned the favor, saying White pushes her to be better. But body language doesn't lie. Observers began to notice subtle changes. Less eye contact during huddles, fewer high fives after games, and a quiet tension that hung in the air even after big wins. What once looked like a perfect partnership now feels like a fragile truce held together by mutual necessity. Both women know that one more public incident could ignite another storm, and neither can afford it. But make no mistake, the Fever's internal politics aren't unique. They're a reflection of a new era in women's basketball. The league is evolving fast, powered by athletes who are as much celebrities as they are competitors. Players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins aren't just playing the game, they're reshaping it. They're bringing in record audiences, corporate partnerships, and a level of visibility the WNBA has chased for decades. But that growth also threatens the traditional balance of power. Coaches, executives, and even league officials are learning in real time how to manage players who hold more public influence than the teams they represent. For Stephanie White, this is about maintaining respect and order in a system that feels like it's slipping away. For Caitlin Clark, it's about leading in her own way, by pushing boundaries, setting new standards, and embracing the spotlight she earned. Their clash wasn't just about a single practice or a single play. It was the collision of two different philosophies, one rooted in hierarchy, the other in empowerment. And how the Fever navigate that tension could shape not just their future, but the entire direction of the WNBA. As of now, insiders say the dust has settled, at least on the surface. Practices are calmer, the public statements sound unified, and the Fever continue to climb in relevance. But anyone watching closely knows the story isn't over. Control isn't something that gets handed back easily, especially when it's tied to fame, fortune, and the weight of a league's future. Stephanie White may still be the coach in title, but whether she's still the one truly steering the team remains an open question. So, what do you think? Did Stephanie White do the right thing by reminding everyone who's in charge, or has Caitlin Clark simply outgrown the old rules of the game? Can the Fever find balance between authority and star power, or are they one more flare-up away from total implosion? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because whatever happens next in Indiana, it won't just change one team. It could redefine the entire future of women's basketball.